This week on Checkpoint.
I went to the showers and I spent a long time in the shower. I felt very, very dirty.
Breaking the silence. Male rape victims speak out.
For a while, this memory, I locked it away, and I literally forgot that it ever happened, you know?
We still live in a society that probably doesn't believe that males can be sexually abused or raped.
He's a man that is suffering deeply. He was raped and abused for many, many years.
This is Checkpoint, and I'm Nkepile Mabuse. There are many misconceptions about male rape. One, that it has to do with sexual orientation, and another, that men cannot be victimized in this way. Producer Sebe Buthelezi and cameraman Ashley Market debunk some of the myths and speak to men trying to pick up the pieces.
Seshego near Polokwane in Limpopo is a place 46-year-old William Sekhodesho has called home for most of his life, except for a 10-year period in the 1980s, a time he cannot forget. These days, he makes a living for his wife and 7 children by recycling. William's childhood was anything but carefree. He was introduced to politics by Azapo in his pre-teens, when this area was the Lebowa Bantustan. After getting involved in violent June 16 protests in 1985, he fled to Johannesburg.
This then became my home. This park here, this is all new stuff that was just recently done. This was just trees here and lawn, and there was a fountain somewhere over there that we used to clean our clothes and to bathe ourselves. Up there in Hillbrow, that's where I act my living. Helping motorists park their cars.
After a few months, he moved to a shelter for homeless children. There he met Catholic priest, Father Bill McCurtain, who took a special interest in him.
He would take me out to like Wimpy, and then he would take me to Edgar's, buy me clothes from Edgar's. So, and this kind of also was creating a rift between me and the kids, because now he was treating me as a special, and I started to feel like a special kid. Yeah, yes, this white man priest taking very good care of me. And I said, it's a present from God. Thank you, God, for giving me this man.
But it came at a price.
One night, I get invited to come and dine with Father Bill and the other priests at the Christ the King Cathedral, where he was based. And then he tells me I'm also going to sleep over. And then we get to sleep, and then he starts to tell me what he has done to me, for me, to date. The clothes, the good food, the money, and the school that I'm going to. It's a boarding school. And all I had to do in exchange to get all those things, because he was going to take good care of me, is to pleasure him. All I have to do is to masturbate him. Okay? And okay, it was not a bit of a shock. It was a shock, actually. But well, I did it I masturbated him the way he wanted to, but then the masturbation led to another. Then he started to fondle me, and then he started to kiss me. So it's my first real experience of a sexual nature, and it's my first kiss, albeit the first one. You know, he's sticking his tongue in my mouth, and he's kissing me all over my neck, and it's not how any child should be introduced to sex. At that age, I'm weighing the options. Of course, I hate what he has done, but I'm hoping it won't happen again. That, okay, I've paid my price the hard way. All right, I can forget about it and move on and go to school and be a child again, you know, follow my dreams. Yeah.
But the abuse continued over and over.
On weekends he will come. If he doesn't take me now to the church, there are alternative places. We go to Emarensia Park, and I'll do the same. It will be the same. Masturbate him.
At a park? At a public park?
Yes, at a public park. Yeah, Zoo Lake. You see? And then also in his bedroom.
In 1988, Father Bill McCurtain took William on a holiday to Amanzi Mtoti. They stayed in a beach house where, says William, the priest plied him with alcohol and then raped him. The reality of what had happened hit home the next morning, says William.
And so I went to the showers, and I spent a long time in the shower. I felt very, very dirty. And then after that, I took a walk to the beach. Walking it's awkward.
He asked to go home and was put on a bus back to Limpopo. He is one of 8 children born to a single mother.
You know, you're back home now, you see the life is still the same, still that poverty, still that, and you think you have it better, you know. And it's true, I had it better at the school.
So he returned to school, to the church, and to his molester.
Second, he raped me again that night, inside the Holy Trinity Church. And I felt so helpless. I just felt so tired, so defeated. Because he will let you know that the alternative is, you know, this is the streets. Because even that shelter is not an alternative anymore. If he says you are out for this or that reason, you are out.
In 1989, when he was 17, William found the courage to report Father Bill McCurtain.
Come 1990, they relocate Father Bill to, you know, it was all so sudden. It's like, he comes to me and say, you know, next week I'm leaving for England. And you'll never see me again. He leaves for England, and when he does, things do get ugly for me. The church doesn't want me. I can't continue that school, it's too expensive, they say, the church, because I believe they were sponsoring me. They showed me no compassion, no understanding, no love. This is a church, just treated me like dirt and threw me out on the streets. And true to his word, I was back on the streets. I had nothing.
When we return, William's legal options.
We are presently pursuing that avenue to have him extradited to South Africa. It's a long, long process.
At the age of 46, William is still picking up the pieces of his life. Speaking out in public has helped him.
I need to get myself together. Please excuse me. So now I'm speaking out for that young boy who couldn't speak for himself. And I'm fighting for him. But not only him, but others. Because I have no doubt in my mind that I was not his only victim.
He keeps a watchful eye over his own children.
Yeah, I'm very overprotective with my children. You know, when I'm there, the gate is off. After when they come from school, I want them in the yard, and the gate is locked. I make it a point, whatever they want. They've got all the toys that that I can afford and buy them. But you know, kids need to play with other kids. But I'm so overprotective of them. I want to see them around me all the time. Shelter.
Reese Mann is a sexual abuse survivor who runs a support group. He is helping William with his case.
I mean, we still live in a society that probably doesn't believe that males can be sexually abused or raped. We live in a society that males are supposed to be tough and be able to protect themselves. And the other half of society look at males as the perpetrators of sexual violence. They don't see males that we could be victims of sexual violence.
He thinks Catholic priests took advantage of poor youngsters in South Africa.
The common thread that we've been picking up from European priests coming to South Africa is a unique, different, subtle way of grooming specifically a black person or a colored person, is that they start grooming them by giving them white privilege.
In 2001, William lodged a formal complaint with the Catholic Church in Gauteng and was told an investigation would be conducted. Nothing happened, he says. So, with Reese's help, he found himself a lawyer, Ian Levitt.
I've been working on this case for about a year now. I haven't seen any conclusions or reports of this internal investigation. All that was told to us is that there was a paltry small settlement of about 25,000 Rand that was paid several years ago. It's very interesting because I asked for a copy of the so-called agreement, and I'm yet to receive it.
Ian is no stranger to such cases. He fought to scrap the 20-year limit in the reporting of sexual abuse crimes in South Africa. Now, sexual assault victims can pursue criminal charges at any time.
There was an arbitrary distinction between sexual assault and rape, where it's well known now that the consequences of sexual assault can be very much the same as rape. So many years later, more than 20 years, can come along and say, I want this man to face all the charges, rape and sexual assault, and that's what will happen.
Ian believes William, who only this year laid charges against Father Bill McCurtain, has a strong case.
Father McCurtain hasn't passed on. They have alleged that he's of poor health, to use their words. I have sources in the UK who have told me that he's a sprightly old man, and that my view is that extradition should take place. I have made contact with the NPA, and we are presently pursuing that avenue to have him extradited to South Africa. It's a long process. We've seen that in cases, very high-profile cases, but for so long as he's alive, justice must prevail.
Ian says the church hasn't been cooperative.
Even as early as January this year, they said, look, my client wanted to speak to him just to express what he was feeling, and the Jesuit said, no, we cannot make contact with him due to his ill health. The big thing is that they haven't done anything material to somebody who's been so materially damaged. He was raped and abused for many years.
He wants the Catholic Church in South Africa to take responsibility.
One of the fundamental regulations was breached. They allowed a child to have a bed in a priest's room. Now, that was never allowed, and they permitted this for so long. And they knew what was going on because William actually approached one of the other priests, and he was told, I know what you're going to tell me, but rather don't. I prefer not to hear about it.
Archbishop William Slattery of the Catholic Church in Gauteng says the law must take its course.
We feel that there is a case to answer. Something has happened here in this situation. We call in the civil authorities then. We hand over to the social workers, but to the police, because the police have special units dealing with this. We have failed in the Catholic Church. No, we really apologise about that. And okay, it happened very, very seriously in the 70s and in the 80s, even in the 90s. Now, since the year 2000, things have got a lot better under control.
As a result of the renewed publicity, after nearly 3 decades, Father Bill McCurtain has apologized to William in an email sent from Britain.
I deeply regret the pain that I have caused Mr. Sekgodisho and would wish to apologize to him unreservedly. I realize, though, that such an apology cannot right the wrongs done to him at that time or the suffering that he has endured since.
William is skeptical.
I'm not saying that the Catholic Church is an evil institution, but I just want to affirm from my personal experience that there are people within that institution who do not deserve to be that title of being priests. And it is my feeling that unless the church starts doing something about those people, they will continue to tarnish the good name of that church and the good work it strives to do the world over.
After the break. How speaking out helped a hip-hop star deal with his childhood abuse.
I know that if I went through this and that guy went through that, there's probably like 100 more guys who are going through it,
Feelings of shame, confusion, and self-blame leave many men unable to speak out about rape. Rapper Sean Pages recently opened up on social media about his childhood sexual assault. He also spoke exclusively to producer Sebe Buthelezi.
For almost 30 years, hip-hop artist Sean Pages hid a childhood secret.
To be honest, I don't remember the first time it ever happened. I think for a while, this memory, I locked it away, and I literally forgot that it ever happened,
He grew up in Alexandra Township, and at the age of 5, had a babysitter, a young man called Muzi.
He's a dude that used to get me from crash, and he's a dude that would make sure I'm fed or whatever, So like, this a person who's taking care of me. In my eyes, this is a person who's good to me.
Then Muzi began molesting him.
So, when the thing started happening, obviously, I was silent about it, number one, because first and foremost, at that age, you don't know what's happening. You don't know what that is. You don't even have a word for that.
Muzi had a reputation which Pages became aware of as he grew up.
He was a notorious gangster. He was one of the most feared people, in my block, So, and I've heard so many stories of him killing so and so, or shooting so and so, or raping so and so, So, when he did that, he said to me, he told me like, if I ever tell anyone, he will kill me, And obviously, at that age, and with what I've heard, I believed him.
Too terrified to tell anyone about the abuse, Pages began acting up.
It made me an angry person. Like, I basically developed the habit of also putting harm onto other people. I remember last time 4 parents came, and they were complaining that I hit their son or whatever. And after they go, my mother would give me like a whipping and a half. The first vow I ever made, I consciously remember making to myself is that, the day I'm strong enough, the day I'm old enough and strong enough, I'm gonna kill him with my bare hands. And I guess also that's why I was in so many fights when I was a kid. I guess for me, it was just practice.
The anger followed him to adulthood and to stardom. None of his big hits could erase his childhood pain.
At some point, I got so used to pain, I actually even fell in love with pain. I got so infatuated with pain. Let me put it that way. And I guess what my mind was telling me is that the more you get pain, the more you'll get used to it, and the more you get used to it, the more no one can really control you, type of thing. That I would even, burn myself. I would do strange things, or get a stray dog and provoke it until it bites me painfully. I can definitely say that. It became an escape. Escape of what was happening in my head, and escape of the emotional roller coaster I was going through.
When his abuser was killed, Pages says he felt a burst of freedom and decided to speak out for other boys.
I know that if I went through this and that guy went through that, there's probably 100 more guys who are going through it. And sometimes in life, all you need is words. To hear someone says, "Yo, I also went through this, but I overcame it. Look where I am now."
He thanks his music for keeping him sane.
So sometimes it's when I'm done, I just want to lose it, so I'll just make a jiggy beat, play, and then I'll be in the studio just, going crazy, but psyching myself up. And that takes my mind off, whatever I'm going through. And I just become happy that I just made something dope, It didn't break me, I could have easily let it break me, and I could have easily become a very destructive person, psychopath, just go around shooting everybody, burning anything, raping any women, and my excuse would be, I went through hell.
That's all from us this week. Please do give us your feedback. Our Twitter handle is @checkpoint_ENCA, and our email address checkpoint@enca.com. Thanks for watching. I'm Ngepile Mabuse. You can watch previous Checkpoint episodes on enca.com as well as on YouTube. Subscribe to the ENCA YouTube channel and click on the Checkpoint playlist to watch.